Spotify is not going to ban specific individuals from being guests on other people's shows. Good. That, again, is a win for sanity. And yes, I'm saying a win for common sense and sanity is a podcast featuring Alex Jones.
Nerdrotic.com.
Right on cue, the blue check marks on Twitter and the mainstream media are going after Joe Rogan, the man who cannot be canceled, for having a particular guest on. We were all wondering if he would have this particular guest on, and our questions were answered last night. So, up front, I apologize, Joe, for ever doubting you. Yes, I was worried he was selling out to Spotify and going to go mainstream. He had Miley Cyrus on and Matthew McConaughey, but that one ended up being a good interview. But he had Alex Jones on. Yes, I'm going to have to bleep out his name like it's an F-bomb because I'm on YouTube, but I am also a strong proponent of free speech. But I also understand I'm on a platform that isn't fair. So if I'm going to remain effective and entertaining, hopefully, on this platform, I need to remain on this platform, meaning I'm going to have to occasionally use lame YouTube speak or bleep out somebody's first name, and you're going to wonder why. Well, it's YouTube. And until things get better, and I know it sucks, that's life. I will deal with it. I am grateful I'm on this platform, and I'm grateful for you. And if you like what I do, please like, share, and subscribe. And until things get better, I'll try to rock the boat as much as I can without completely sinking it. I'd also like to mention that I hate the fact there are channels banned from this platform that shouldn't be. This was a pretty damn good show, and it's almost at 6 million views, and people are going crazy. But I am very happy to report that Spotify right now is defending him. Now, could things change in the future? Sure, but right now, this is a win for sanity and common sense. Joe Rogan mentioned it in his podcast, and I will echo it here. The best way to answer speech is with more speech, and it has to be free, no matter how crazy it sounds. I personally believe as an adult, we should have our own lines that we don't cross, but I don't want the government or Silicon Valley mandating it. And I stated that in my videos about that film on Netflix, and I state it here. Interestingly enough, some of the statements made by blue check marks on Twitter and some of the articles written by the mainstream media about Jones' appearance on Joe Rogan complaining about misinformation are filled with misinformation. Isn't it funny how that works out? Jones and Spotify's illusion of neutrality, and I would call it the illusion of free speech on social media, but here we go. This is from TechCrunch. Social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter have taken a messy beating from critics, unhappy with how they handle questionable content on their platform, with some complaining that they don't do enough to rein in misinformation and others decrying censorship. Well, I'll kind of decry both. There's been a lot of censorship in social media, and there's been a lot of misinformation spread by the mainstream media, and I guess they don't like competition. But what about Spotify? The company is never mentioned in this context, and with its traditional business couched in streaming recorded music, you might understand why its biggest controversies over the last few years have been how little musicians get paid. Well, that's been going on since music became a business. That position, however, is being jolted into different territory now with its move into podcasting, meaning podcasters are about to get screwed over unless they do things the way Joe Rogan did, which is raising lots of questions over what role Spotify should and could play in overseeing the content on its platform. Now people are in an uproar of who essentially gets a platform on its platform. This is the ridiculousness of now, and it's a great example why you shouldn't ban certain people off your platform, because someday one of your biggest content creators might invite that person back on and make things awkward. Right, Twitch? I'm guessing Spotify did their homework, yet I don't trust them just yet. Now, I listened to this episode and they did cover some relevant information that's currently being suppressed by YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. That issue was highlighted in the last day when Joe Rogan, the highly paid podcaster with a libertarian bent, brought on Jones of InfoWars fame, whose own podcast was removed from Spotify and YouTube and others in 2018 onto his show for a meandering 3 hours. I thought it was quite good personally, leading to an uproar over how Spotify is giving a spotlight and a microphone to an infamous purveyor of misinformation. Again, the mainstream media hates competition. On to the blue check marks on Twitter. Thanks to Sophia Norwitz, and thanks to the person who emailed this to me. I can't read them all. There are plenty of interesting debates about how to navigate free speech in the current age. None of them need to entertain for a second whether should be given a long interview on one of the biggest, most lucrative podcasts in the world. Such a bad look, Spotify. Honestly, Joe Rogan, a jackass for giving Alex Jones a platform a week away from the election when he knows damn well how stupid and gullible at least 50% of his listeners are. You hear that, Joe Rogan listeners? Dylan R.A. thinks half of you are dumb, and he's got a blue check mark, but I'm sure he's a Mensa. Nathan Bernard, blue check mark. Joe Rogan hosted far-right conspiracy theorist Alex Jones on his podcast today. They pushed anti-something conspiracies and broadcast banned Wars videos. Rogan continuing to platform these far-right sickos is incredibly gross and dangerous. Again, you have every right to your opinion, but I doubt you actually listened. Justin Block, blue check mark. Oh my God, I forgot he's been on already. Joe Rogan is being incredibly irresponsible to the point where he could get people hurt with his platform. Yeah, but none of the mainstream media is doing that, are they? Here's recently fired Cinema Roberto or Diabito or Movie Bob Productions, recently fired from The Escapist. Never been more glad to not have Spotify. Maybe more people should try also not having Spotify. Maybe a lot of people have been enjoying not having Movie Bob on The Escapist. Listen, there's something you can do. Not listen. Zena Jardine, why I quit Spotify when they announced this deal with Joe Rogan, because F him and Alex Jones and F Spotify. Spotify pays Rogan $100 million to broadcast this shit on their platform. Yes, as a matter of fact, they did. Take a look at the views. Currently sitting at 6,036,373 with 249 likes and 10,000 dislikes. That's a pretty damn good ratio. I'm sure that will go up on both sides as time goes on and as more people watch it. And I'm going to listen to this thing again as I go to bed tonight. Again, we are heading down a slippery slope, one that I don't think we can come back from. And I've said this, and so have many others. Once you set a precedent for something, it's set, and it could come for you and I. Don't think you're immune to it, because you are not. This is the path to totalitarianism. This is why I'm leaving California. It's a one-party state. That party thinks it's got a mandate, so it doesn't even consider the other side. There is no more balance. It's running rampant. Things are getting worse, and I don't want to be around for it, to be honest with you. And I don't want to see this happen to all of our entertainment, to all of our platforms. But the platforms did it to themselves, and now the government is getting involved over that one particular story about that one laptop computer. Who the hell elected you? Ted Cruz tears into Twitter's Jack Dorsey for still censoring tweets about that laptop. Republicans slam him, Facebook, and Google for bias, and he admits conservatives have lost trust in us. That is Jack Dorsey. This is from the Daily Mail Online. It's not only conservatives, it's centrist, and sometimes it's people on the left as well. Now, at least it looks like for now, Spotify is defending Joe Rogan. Is Spotify defending Joe Rogan and Jones? Read their explanation following controversial podcast. This is from Newsweek. Joe Rogan interviewed far right. Who isn't far right? Jesus, everybody's far right now. Conspiracy theorist Jones on his popular podcast this week, prompting outrage on social media, with many listeners threatening to cancel their subscriptions to Spotify, the show's host company. Though Spotify has remained mum on the subject publicly, a leaked email obtained by BuzzFeed News suggests its top brass stands by Rogan. The music and podcast company's chief legal officer and head of global affairs, Horacio Gutierrez emailed team managers on October 28th about the episode. The letter states Spotify is not going to ban specific individuals from being guests on other people's shows. Good. That, again, is a win for sanity. And yes, I'm saying a win for common sense and sanity is a podcast featuring Alex Jones. Again, I'm not defending Jones for what he has said. I don't know everything he has said, and I'm not condemning him for things he has said. I am simply defending his right to be on somebody else's show. It was pretty good. Joe Rogan did interrupt him to fact check him from time to time, and I didn't think it derailed the conversation that much. There was a comedian there, Tim Dillon. He was all right. Overall, I don't take it as gospel. It was just a podcast. If you disagree with me, you always had the option to turn it off, and that should always remain your one and only option concerning someone else's free speech and someone else's podcast. I'm very glad to hear we did not lose one of the champions of free speech, Joe Rogan, and he didn't sell out again. I'm sorry. Thanks for listening. I hope you like what you heard. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.